right. Shalom, Yasharel, Shalom. Pray that all the bruise scattered to the four corners are in good spirit. All praises to the Almighty Yahweh. All right. You already know what to do. If you can hear me, go ahead and give me a one in the chat box if you can hear me loud and clear. All right. I got my microphone setting up pretty high so we don't miss anything. All right. All praises to the Most High. All right, Yasharel, this one's going to be a heavy hitter. This is going to be, I have a lot of scriptures to cover, so I'm going to need a favor from a few of you. If anyone can put the scriptures in the chat box. So those who are coming in the chat, they can go ahead and grab those scriptures. All right, but we're going to cover a lot of things. So no fleeing. Let's just jump right into this thing because we got a lot to cover, Yasharel. Tons. All right. I'm going to try to do this less than 2 hours, the most high permits, but we'll see how it goes. All right. I'm going to give you a few more minutes to get on. I know the scattered brews are still coming on. All right. I want to welcome everyone. All praises to the Most High. All right. So, I've been getting some emails. I guess there's still people hung up on this whole flea doctrine thing. All right. I'm not sure where it's coming from. I don't know who's teaching it, but you still have people stuck on this whole flea America doctrine. Now, I'm going to show you from the scriptures that won't be possible because you're not going to be doing that in captivity for several reasons. For one, Babylon might be a part of America, but it's not all of America. You got to understand, all these nations are in it together. All right. Where do you think homosexuality came from? Homosexuality and all wicked stuff came prior to America rising up. All right. Even before there was America. I lived in Germany for a couple of years. All right. It's legal to have sex with animals there. I mean, they do all kinds of stuff. It's just not publicized. So Babylon has been in existence for a long time, way before America came on the scene. It's just that America, because of the democracies and all these crazy stuff they got going on, people can do anything in America. And that's what makes America so wicked, because you can do just about anything and get away with it. All right. So now that you're on, let's start with, go ahead and turn to, so I'm reading from the Sefer. This is going to be 4 Ezra, but it's 2nd Ezra, chapter 14. And let's look at a couple of things. And again, just bear with me because we have a lot to cover. So I got to get right to it. And again, shalom to all the brews that are coming on. All right, so let's start with verse 13 in 2nd Ezra, chapter 14. It says, "Now therefore set your house in order, and reprove your people, comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption." All right. So we are to reprove our people. And as our people are starting to wake up and they're starting to become aware, it is through the Spirit, it is through the Ruach that the Almighty is making his people aware. That's important to remember. I want you to remember that because I'm going to repeat it throughout this discussion. It says, "Let go from you mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto you, and haste you to flee from these times." All right. So why is it saying that? Because no matter where you go, Babylon's going to be there. No matter where you go, our enemies have colonized all the regions where our people are scattered to. So, you can say, hey, you're fleeing to Africa because you want to get out of America because you want to escape Babylon. Well, guess what? These so-called Hamites, these African leaders, guess what? They joined and slept they sleeping in the same bed with our enemies. So go figure. So you got to understand who's colonizing these places. So you're talking about going to a place because you want to escape the Babylon here in America. Well, you're going to catch it there. It's probably going to be even worse because now you're competing with Hamites. It says, for yet greater evils than those which you have seen happen shall be done hereafter. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. So basically, that's saying that we're not going to have the strength of our forefathers, because as these generations, throughout the generations, we become weaker. All right, we're dying more. All right, the average brother and sister, what, about 80, 85 years, 90 years, if you really take good care of yourself, and if eat right and uh, exercise, you could probably push 100. All right, but the way things are, the all the pollutants and all kinds of stuff, we don't live pretty much past 95 or 100. So go figure. But our forefathers before us, they lived a lot longer. Why? Because for one, they didn't have all the pollutants. They you know they were just naturally off the genes of their forefathers. But the further away we get from creation, the weaker our people get. And this is why, in this time that we're living in, the Most High is setting up camp, and He is going to deliver His people, just like He promised. Now, before we get into breaking down the whole fleeing part and how the Most High is going to gather His people, because I'm going to show you many scriptures in the Word that the Most High is going to gather His people. We're not going to have to go anywhere. All right, wherever you are, on this, on the four corners of the earth, wherever you are, you need to stay put. But what you need to do is you need to reach out to your brothers and sisters. All right, and pass that baton down so they can get the message. I'm going to show y'all something right quick, and what I'm about to show you is going to blow your mind, because I'm going to show you how it's going to tie in to these last days that we're living in. All right. That's not the one I wanted. Okay, so this is coming from the book of Nicodemus. All right, this is from the Hebrew Israelite Bible. You can order this through Brother Jediah's website, and most of y'all know about it already. It's called the Hebrew Israelite Bible. Now, before the Most High gathers His people, there's going to be an interesting event that's going to take place. All right, something's going to happen, and I'm going to show you, and I'm going to prove it to you, not only from the book of Nicodemus, but I'm going to get another precept to go off this one as well. So let's look at this. Again, this is the book of Nicodemus, chapter 25, and it goes on to say, I am Enoch, or Canuck, which was translated hither by the word of Jehovah, and this that is with me is Elihu, or Elijah, the Tishbin, which was taken up in the chariot of fire, and up to this day we have not tasted death, but we are received unto the coming of, here's the key word, anti-mashiach. Read that part again. Unto the coming of anti-mashiach, to fight against him with signs and wonders of Elohim, and to be slain of him in Yasharelium, and thereafter 3 days and a half to be taken up again alive on the clouds. Now, I'm going to have to break that down in another lesson, but the point that I want to make is that Elijah definitely is coming back before the Almighty comes back, before the HaMashiach comes back. Why? Because he has to train the men. He has to train the men, because it is the men who are going to hold the priest. It is the men who is going to carry the Most High's word out. All right. There's a reason why he assigned men to the priesthood. All right. But right now we're in a disarray. We're in limbo right now, because we have lost. We've lost our heritage. We lost our language. We no longer have the Levites for the sacrifices without an ephod. So let me just show you that right quick. So let's go to the book of Hosea. All right, give me a second here. Let's go to the book of Hosea, and I'm going to show you what the word says. All right. And then we're going to go to Malachi, because I'm going to show you that Enoch indeed is going to return before the Mashiach. And this is why I'm saying there's still a lot of things that has to take place, you all. All right. There's an order of things. And this is why the things that you're seeing right now, it's all working up into the Most High's plans. All right. Everything. So don't get discouraged when you see these things, rejoice, because we know that, the Most High is at nigh. All right. So let's look at Hosea chapter 3. All right. Yeah, a second to get there. Hosea chapter 3. And let's look at verse 4. It says, the children of Yasharel shall abide many days without a king, without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without a teraphim. So we knew this was going to come, because when you read in Jubilees, it said that we would go astray as to the new moons and the Shabbats. It never said we would get it right. It just says that we would go astray. So let me bring that up right quick. All right, let's go to the book of Jasher, and make sure you're writing these scriptures down as well too. So let's go to the book of Jasher. All right, let's go to 1. All right. No, give me a second. That's not where I wanted to go. I wanted to go somewhere else. But while we're doing that, Yasharel, you got to understand what's happening and how all of this is planning out, because everything that we're seeing right now is happening. It is happening because Yasharel is planning to bring his people back to fruition. All right. It's not going to be pretty. All right. Jubilees chapter 1. And let's look at, all right, I'm going to start with verse 14. I want to make sure I have this on the screen so you all can see it there. All right. Let's look at this right quick. It says, and I will hide my face from them, and I will deliver them into the hand of the other nations for captivity and for prey and for devouring. Now, this is us right now, real time. Like this, literally, this right here we're looking at, we're living this in real time. And I will remove them from the midst of the land, and I will scatter them amongst the other nations. So here we are. We got us, the Negroes that are in the United States. We got Negroes that are in South America. We got Negroes that are in Russia. We got Negroes that are in China. You get the picture. You can go on and on. So everywhere across this earth, we have Negroes, our people. All right. And they're going through the same treatment, if not worse, than we are. And it says, and they will forget all my Torah and all my commandments and all my judgments, and will go astray as to new moons, Shabbats, and feasts, and jubilees, and ordinances. It never said they would get it right. It just says that we would go astray. All right. You got to remember that. It says after, because you got people who are still trying to figure out, okay, the feast in captivity. But you're not going to figure it out, because that's not the way the Most High, made it for us, because he made it to where we would have to be confined in these other nations. But now he has a plan to wake his people up. It says, after this, they will turn from me amongst the other nations. What does it mean? What does it mean, turn from amongst the other nations? Our people will realize they'll have to start putting away the idols. They'll have to come out of Christianity. They'll have to come out of Buddhism. They'll have to come out all these other religions that it would take me forever to list. All right. They would have to come out of all these different religions and serve the one true Almighty Yahweh. All right. Putting away idols, keeping the Shabbat. All right. Obeying his word, turning from wickedness. It says, after this, they will turn to me from the other nations with all their heart and with all their soul and with all their strength. And I will gather them from amongst all the other nations, and they will seek me so that I shall be found of them when they seek me with all their heart and with all their soul. So it's going to get so bad for our people that our people are going to start to cry out in ways that we can't even imagine. All right. So you think that what we're seeing right now, everything that's going on, yeah, it's going to be a stock market crash. Everything is going to crumble, but it has to be that way. All right. It has to get worse before it can get better. And it's going to sting some, and it's going to hurt most places. But for those who are being faithful to the Almighty and keeping His laws, commandments, and statutes, all right, you're still going to feel it, but you're going to be okay. Now let's go back to the verse in the book of Nicodemus, chapter 25, and I'm going to read this again, and then I'm going to get another precept for this, because I'm going to show you what's going to happen right before Hamashiach comes back, and then I'm going to show you that indeed the Most High is going to send His angels to gather His people. We ain't going to be fleeing nowhere. We ain't going to be getting on no plane and bus or talking about, oh, I'm escaping Babylon, America. You're going to get the same treatment anywhere you go, even worse. And it's going to be worse for you in other countries, because at least here, in America, there's checks and balances. You go certain places in Africa or anywhere else, South America, they can kill you. Nobody wouldn't know it. It says, I am Kanak, which was translated hither by the word of Jehovah. And this that is with me is Eliud, the Tishman, which was taken up in a chariot of fire, and up to this day we have not tasted death. All right. But we are received unto the coming of anti-mashiach to fight against him with signs and wonders. So here's your two witnesses right here. It's in plain sight. All right. Now, some has argued that, oh, Moses and Elijah, I heard different ones. All right. That could be up for debate. But according to this, Elijah and Enoch. Now, what does it mean to be anti-Hamashiach? Y'all know what it means to be anti-Hamashiach? All right. I want to see what it means. If you think you know what it means to be anti-Hamashiach, let me see it in the chat box. I'll give you a few seconds to put it in. What does it mean to be anti-Hamashiach? That's a powerful word, y'all. What does it mean to be anti-Hamashiach? I know what you're going to say. All right. Still waiting. See if anybody's going to put in there. What does it mean to be anti-Hamashiach? Anti-Hamashiach. All right. Not believing that he is our, okay. Actually, Hamashiach is the mediator. It is the Father who is going to really, save his people. Because when we pray to the Father. But Hamashiach is the mediator. Let me tell you what. Let me go ahead and give it to you. Let me go ahead and give it to you. Let me give you a hint. Who are the Most High's chosen people? You have the southern. Who did the Most High make a covenant with? See, you can't be against Hamashiach. These other nations cannot win against Hamashiach. That's not the issue. With all their greatest technologies that they have, they cannot beat Hamashiach. All right. To be anti-Hamashiach is to be against his chosen people, because all things have been given into his hands. All right. Let me just go there right. Let me just show you something right quick. Let's go to Hebrews. Go to the book of Hebrews, and let's go to chapter 8, and then we're going to go to Malachi. All right. Can y'all see that there on the screen there? All right. Because like I said, you can't do nothing to Hamashiach. You can be against Hamashiach all you want to. All right. But when it talks about the anti-Hamashiach, what does that mean? That means that these people have been trying to kill us off for the last hundreds of years, like literally trying to kill us off, poison us. Now, granted, we're doing a lot of stuff to ourselves. Yes, we are a stiff-necked people. We have been exceedingly wicked, but this is the time now that the Most High is showing us that we need to change as a people. All right. It says, "For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, he says, Behold, the days come, says Yahweh, when I will make a renewed covenant, when I will make a renewed covenant with the house of Yasharel and with the house of Yehuda." Now, who is that, Yasharel? Who was the house of Israel and the house of Yehuda? Who is that? I'm testing y'all now. So, who is the house of Yehuda or the house of Judah and the house of Israel? Who are those? Anyone tell me? When it says the house of Yehuda and the house of Israel, who is it talking about? Is it talking about the other nations? Is it talking about Chinese folks? Talking about white folks? Talking about Europeans? What is it talking about? That's right. The northern and southern kingdom that was divided. See, this thing is deep, y'all. I did a video on the New Testament Gentiles. Go to my playlist and look for New Testament Gentiles. And just, I got like I got several videos in there that you all need to look at, because it breaks it down, because it would take me hours to really go over that. So there is nowhere in the scriptures where the Most High made a covenant to the other nations. Nowhere. Well, you may say, well, okay, how come these Europeans and these Chinese, these all these Christian other folks, how come they got churches, and how come they're banging their Bibles up and down on these pulpits and everything? You know why? Because they included themselves into the mix. There's nowhere in the scriptures where it told them to take claim or take hold of our book, to take hold of our covenant. Where you gonna see that in the scriptures? There's nowhere in the scriptures that the Almighty made a covenant with the other nations outside of Israel. Nowhere, nowhere, nada. You can't use the grafted in, because that was dealing with the 10 tribes, and I also cover that in the New Testament Gentiles. That was the 10 lost tribes. All right, because you can only graft the natural branches back onto the original tree, not some. You cannot graft an apple tree to an orange tree, or vice versa. I mean, the ideology of these people, to think that they can just cling to our heritage and then just add themselves in. They like, forget the Most High. We're gonna just add ourselves in. We're gonna make this our book. We're gonna build our churches. Them jokers are out of their minds. So I wanted to show you this, because as it relates to the two witnesses coming back to fight against the anti-Hamashiach. Now, those who are, we're talking about the world elites who run this country, all right? And especially these people, what they call Zionists, who claim to be us, but they control the media, news outlets, the music industry, everything, anything that has to do with, and then you look how they exploit our people. They use our people as liquid money, and they also own all the sports franchise. Can't leave that out as well. All the sports franchise. These people are literally parasites, and they know that their time is short. All right, let's go to Malachi. go to the book of Malachi, chapter 4. Now, it's going to be a head buster right here. Now, what does it say right here? It says right here in bold letters, all right? It says, behold, I will send you Eliyahu, or Elijah, the prophet, before what? The coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahweh. Didn't say after. All right, let me read that part again, just in case you missed it. And remember, we just read in the book of Nicodemus that he would come to fight along with Enoch to fight against anti-mashiach. It says, behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahweh. All right. So what does that mean? What is the great and dreadful day of Yahweh? Well, I'm going to show you that here in a bit. And it says, and he shall, who's he? And Elijah, and he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. So what's going on right now with our people? All right. We have the highest rates of single motherhood, so no fathers in the home. And we can get into that in another discussion. But let's just look at the issue at hand right now. All right. We have many of our babies growing up without fathers. No fathers in the home. All right. So what's happening? We're seeing a generation of people being raised feminine. That has to change. Something has to be, you know what I'm saying? It has to be a reversal on this. So when Elijah comes back, we don't know how long this period's going to be. But when Elijah comes back, he said, he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. So what we're seeing on this earth right now is just the beginning stages of what's to come. A horrifying or horrific event. All right. Because we don't know, like I showed you in the last lesson, we're right there in the toes. That prophecy period in the toes, between the toes and that rock coming to, that rock cut out without hands, representing Hamashiach, to come back to get his people, take us in the wilderness. Because when he comes back, we're not going it. It's not going to be it's going to be 1,000 years first, because we got to relearn everything over again. We have to. It's going to take a lot. Order has to be restored amongst our people, and there's going to be a lot of purging, just like it was when we left Egypt the first time. A lot of brothers was getting stoned. A lot of brothers was getting chastised because they were complaining. They wanted to go back to Egypt. They wanted to go back into captivity. See, Yashra, we have been in captivity so long that true revelation is going to be a shock to us. This is why it seems so unreal. All right. This is why it's going to seem so unreal when it happens, because we have been in captivity. We have been in submission for so long. We have been at the bottom for so long. We have been oppressed for so long that it doesn't even faze us anymore. Who was it? Was it Isaiah or Jeremiah? They said that what are we? What are you people? Are we a homeborn slave? It's like every generation. It's like, dang, and can we ever catch a break? Like, why do we have to always be wicked as a people? So we see the Spirit working. We see the Ruach working amongst our people. Not everybody's going to wake up, but people are going to see, and they're gonna know something is happening. All right, they're gonna know something is happening. They're gonna, you know, just like the Ruach, just like the scripture says. You know, it's going to be the Spirit that quickeneth. And we're starting to see things. We're starting to see signs. A lot of our people are coming out now, as far as the, celebrities and stuff like that. That these that's coming out, has come out and acknowledged. You know, that's really nothing. I mean, hey, anybody can come out and say, hey, I acknowledge. Is when we turn away from our idols. And see, and that's going to be the hard part for many of our people. Many of our people are attached to their idols and they can't get away from them. All right. And this is the thing that we have to understand. Those first two commandments are a doozy for our people. And until we turn away from these commandments, we're going to continue to be chastised even more. We're going to see more of our people just get laid down by the wayside. They're going to get laid down by the wayside, y'all, because they refuse to give up their idols. And it's getting to the point now where it's getting crazy for our people, because they refuse to turn from their idols. All right, let's go to Deuteronomy. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy. And let's look at verse 30. All right. All right. So y'all pretty familiar with this verse, right? Give you a second to get there. All right, and it says, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon you, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before you, and you shall call them to mind among all the nations, whether Yahweh Elohim has driven you. All right. So we understand the blessings and we understand the curses. We understand now why our people have gotten into this mess. We understand that we are a stiff-necked people. We understand that we need to turn from our idols. All right. It says, and shall return unto Yahweh Elohim, and shall obey his voice according to that I command you this day, you and your children with all your heart and with all your soul. That then Yahweh will turn your captivity. All right. But it's not until we turn away from all these idols. All right. It's not until we turn from all these idols and repent from our wicked ways and come back to the Most High's laws, commandments, and statutes. It says that then Yahweh Elohim will turn your captivity and have compassion upon you, and will return and gather you from all the nations. Y'all hear that? From all the nations. Again, here's that key word again, from all the nations. Whether Yahweh Elohim has scattered you. All right. You're going to see this throughout all the scriptures. All right. This is why you cannot flee anywhere. Where you going to flee to, y'all? Where are you going? Where you call yourself going? You're going to go to Africa? You're going to go to Ghana? You're going to go to Nigeria? Djibouti? Where are you going? You're going to go to South America? You're going to go to China? You're going to, where are you going? Germany? Pick your poison. Because guess what? Our people are catching hell everywhere they are. South America, in Mexico, there's a place in Mexico where Negroes are, right? From Gaspayenga. Did y'all know that town where they at, they just now got acknowledged for censorship in 2020? Those people are treated like crap out there. So there's no way where you can flee. Your best bet is to team up with like-minded brothers and sisters. Get you a little piece of land. All right, go ahead and pay them taxes, because everybody got to pay taxes. All right, start your homestead, grow your own food. All right. Just don't, for the sake of, because of misunderstanding of the scriptures, you trying to flee somewhere where our enemies are still prevalent. Because you got to understand, our people are scattered to the four corners. So if that was the case, you going, hey, we got people, we got our people, some of our people who are in Ghana. We got people dispersed throughout all the four corners. All right. So whoever's coming up with this flea doctrine, uh, they just doing you a disfavor. All right. It says, if any of yours be driven out unto the utmost parts of the heavens, from thence will Yahweh Al-Hakya gather you, and from thence will he fetch you. Whether people want to believe it or not, he is coming to gather his people. And I know it seems, trust me, I know it seems so unreal because again, we have been in this thing for so long. It just feels like, man, it's just nothing's going to happen. But trust me, it's going to happen, just not on our time. And Yahweh Elohim will bring you into the land which your fathers possessed, and you shall possess it, and he will do you good and multiply you above your fathers who have tremendously sinned because of wickedness. All right. The good thing is, Yasharel, is that our people are starting to become aware. I'm telling you, our people are starting to become aware. And only those who refuse to hear the voice, they are going into a second captivity in their minds, because if they refuse, they're going to shut down completely. They will be eliminated. All right, let's go to Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah 11:11. Because I really want you, I really want y'all to see this, y'all. It's not going to be of our own power that we're doing this, all right? It's no man is going, there's not going to be no leaders. No man is going to be able to rise up to save you. And that's what the Most High has been trying to show us all this time. It's not going to be another Chairman Fred. It's not going to be another Malcolm X, even though those brothers, they did all they could and they love their people. All right. So I'm gonna let you read. This is Isaiah 11:11. All right. So these are the areas where the Most High is going to gather Yasharel. All right, the northern tribes. All right, the northern tribes. Because remember, um, when you look at these locations, and if you look them up, if you do a breakdown of these locations, you'll see that these areas are parts of Africa, Mediterranean, and what we call now the Middle East. That's where a lot of the northern tribes, and even though we might have some northern tribes still here in these area regions, but for the most part, Judah is dispersed to the four corners of the earth. Man, this is this. I mean, this is going to be amazing, y'all. When this happens, I'm telling y'all. All right, let's go to Isaiah. Let's go to the book of Isaiah 43 this time. Same book, but just 43. And let's look at verse 5. Highlight that. All right, it says, "Fear not, for I am with you. I will bring your seed from the east and gather you from the west." What is that saying, y'all? That means that the prophecy is true and it holds fast, that we are still scattered to the four corners as a people. It says, "Fear not, for I am with you. I will bring your seed from the east and gather you from the west." I mean, that's powerful. He's letting you know that he is going to bring you this, and this is why you have to. I'm telling you, you have to occupy until the Most High comes. What I mean by occupy until the Almighty comes, you're going to have to set up a base When I say when I say a base, I'm talking about within your own realm, within your own area, whether you be in Georgia, California, uh, New York, other places, London, wherever. You're going to have to set up your own little space with like-minded brothers or sisters and family members, and you're going to have to keep the commandments within yourselves. It might just be you. It just may be you and a couple of people. All right, but you have to, what the scripture says. Who was my mother or my father? It says it is they who, obey the laws of the Most High. All right, we all know I know as well as you do that we have many family members who do not like us because of our revealing, because of our heritage. But yet they're Israelites too. But they don't want to acknowledge because they're so stuck. They're so stuck in religion. They're so stuck on stupid that they can't even see themselves. And this is what captivity has done to our people. All right. It has made us so blind and so dumb that we got family members that's trying to persecute their own people. And they don't even realize they're Israelites as well. But they don't care about that, though. You try to tell them they're an Israelite, they'll look at you and call you a devil. That's just, I'm telling you, y'all, that's the mind job that has been put on our people. I mean, it's crazy, because you're probably thinking in your mind, like, how come they can't see this truth like I see it? How come they can't see this awakening? How come they can't see that keeping the laws of the Most High like I can see it? The reason why they can't see it, Yasharel, is because they refuse the spirit. They refuse the Ruach. All right. You answered the call. All right. You acknowledged it. You did your research. You started to study. You started to investigate. You started to question these other religions. All right. Because our faith is not a religion. It is a birthright. It is a bloodline. Always remember that. Never call your Hebrew Israelite a religion. Israelite is not a religion. It is a birthright. It is a bloodline that cannot be broken. No one can be grafted into this, and no one outside of Israel. These other nations cannot become Israelites because it's a bloodline. It's impossible. And this is what the elites don't want you to know. They want to keep you caught up in madness. They want to keep you caught up in the gravy of the heathens, what I like to call it. They want to keep you stirred up in that old dirty pot, mixed in with everything else. They don't want you to know who you are as a people. But it was the Spirit who started to plant a flame in our people to wake up. But see, this is the first stage. The first stage is for our people to start waking up and acknowledging who they are as a people. Then you immediately turn away. I mean, it's almost like simultaneously. You burn that Christmas tree. You get rid of your idols. Get rid of all of the little niglet heads you had in your home at one time. And you completely turn towards the Holy Abba. Because the Most High has always fought for his people if we turn to him. All right. And until we get an established kingdom, we don't have an army. All right, let's go to Mark. Let's go to Mark 13:27. The book of Mark, chapter 13 and 27. Let's see what it says here. All right, book of Mark and verse 27. All right, you see it as boldly as I do. It says, and then shall he send his angels, and shall what? And shall gather together his elect from the what? From the four winds, from the uttermost part of the earth to the uttermost part of the heaven. Again, our people are scattered to the four corners. So what does that mean? That means that he's going to send his people. He's going to send his angels to gather his people from the four corners of the earth. Now, what is that going to look like? If you were to give a visionary thing into what that would look like, I would think, now this is just me, I would think it would just be like when they chariots of fire came to pick up Elijah. But just think of millions and millions and millions and just times millions of them coming. And that's just, we can't fathom something like that because we've never seen something like that. Y'all got to remember, y'all, we were not alive when the 10 plagues fell on Egypt, but our forefathers witnessed that. Now we can only imagine what that looked like. Could you imagine uh, fire falling down on Sodom and Gomorrah? Can you imagine witnessing that sight from a distance? Man, that stuff was just I. So I'm a visual person. I like to picture things in my head, and you're just seeing something like that, and that's why I can't get over how they forgot so fast, our forefathers, when they came out of Egypt. After they saw the 10 plagues, they witnessed with their own eyes Pharaoh drown with his whole host of army in the sea. But yet they still wanted to go back to Egypt. Like what kind of messed up mindset is that? I mean, we look at that, but guess what? We're doing the same thing. So we really, honestly, we're really no better because we're still worshiping these idols. Our people are still celebrating these holidays. So what makes us different from our forefathers? And that right there ought to tell you that we are of our forefathers because we sure as hell are carrying on the wickedness. All right, let's go to Jeremiah. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 32. Man, I mean, you can see it as plain as day. Jeremiah chapter 32. And let's look at verse 37. All right. Here's another headbanger. Y'all see what I'm saying? The scriptures are filled with it. You can't get away from it. All right. So how are you going to flee when the Most High is going to gather his people from the four corners of the earth? It doesn't make no sense. Like, make it make sense, Yasharel. It says, behold, I will gather them out of all countries. What does it say? It says, behold, I will gather them out of all countries, whether I have driven them in my anger and in my fury and in great wrath, and I will bring them again unto this place, and I will cause them to dwell safely. All right. He's going to bring us into the wilderness. But it is so plain as day, though. He's going to gather his people from the four corners. All right, let's go to Ezekiel. All right, you all familiar with this one. All right, remember, this is at his second coming. This is when he comes back to gather his people. And when he comes, he ain't coming with no roses and friendly hugs or enemies. He's coming to these. He's literally coming to destroy and eliminate our enemies. Because you got to understand all the things that have been happening to our people. He has been holding that in, y'all. Now, can you imagine the anger of the Hamashiach when he comes back? So these people are beyond reproach. They're beyond repenting because it doesn't matter. They can do all the repenting in the world. It's not going to save them. The only way that we can compensate for what's happened to them is that they're going to get that 1,000-year work. They going into captivity for 1,000 years. And they're going to be burnt up. And there ain't going to be no more. But they're going to get that work. Even the ones who think they done died and got away with murder, they're going to be they're going to get that work too. You know, the Most High has the power to raise even our enemies so that just they can get that work. Because remember what it said in Matthew. He said the ones who pierced him are going to get a special they're going to get a special resurrection. They're going to be able to see even the ones who pierced him when he comes back. No one's going unpunished, y'all. Just because These slave masters tortured and did all kind of malicious stuff to our people. Don't think that they're getting away with murder. Everything has been recorded, every single thing, and I guarantee you, there's stuff that we could not even see that would just make our skin crawl. The stuff that they did to our people. All right, let's look at Ezekiel chapter 20. Give y'all a few seconds to get there. All right. It says, and I will bring you out from the people and will gather you. Here it is again. And I will bring you out from the people and will gather you out of the countries. There's that word again, out of the countries wherein ye are scattered to, with a mighty hand. Now, this verse is more intense. It says, with a mighty hand, with a stretched out arm, and with what? Fury poured out. Have we ever seen the fury of the Most High poured out? Absolutely not. Now, we've seen fires, we've seen floods, we've seen destructive hurricanes, winds, tornadoes, upon our enemy. But this is nothing. That's nothing compared to the fury the Most High is going to pour out on our enemies. Because you got to understand, all for hundreds of years, for thousands of years actually, all this anger building up in the Most High, all this anger. Can you imagine someone just like bullying your children, for 10 years straight, just bullying your children maliciously for 10 years straight? Wouldn't your anger build up to a boiling point at a certain time? And those 10 years of torture, it's going to come out. It's going to come out. How you think the Hamashiach feels? All right. And it says, and I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face. Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Mizraim, so will I plead with you, says Adonai Yahweh. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. So the covenant was never broken. All right. We broke the covenant. But our generation now, we're starting to see the mistakes of our forefathers, and we're starting to realize, dang, man, our people, they just messed up. So we have a chance to make it right now. We have a chance to turn away from these idols, turn back to the Most High, turn from our wicked ways, and keep these commandments. Because I'm telling you, Yashara, it's a terrible thing to fall in the hands of the Almighty. You do not want to fall into the hands of the Almighty. You want to be on the side of righteousness. You want to be on the side of that fence when the Hamashiach comes back, so we can be delivered. Because I know y'all sick of this place. I know y'all tired of this place. There's nothing here for us. All right, we are strangers. We are a chosen people in a strange land, scattered to the four corners. Wherever we are, our people are still in spiritual Egypt. Just look up the Negroes in these other countries. Like, for example, look up Afro-Mexicans, look up Afro-Chinese, look up Afro-Indians. You'll see our people, they resemble us. They look just like us, Joshua. They don't look like no non-melanated Europeans. They look just like us. Big lips, got features, wide noses, Those are the kind of features that these people have. All right, let's go to Jeremiah, the book of Jeremiah. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 30. And let's look at verse 3. All right, give you a few seconds to get there. All right, Jeremiah chapter 30. All right, it says, for lo, the days come, says Yahweh, that I will bring again the captivity of my people, Yasharel and Yehuda. There it is, the northern and southern tribe, says Yahweh, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. All right. Now, after 1,000 years, when we go, when the kingdom comes down. Now, remember that the area that these so-called Khazars in right now, that's not all of Israel, y'all. It's way bigger than that. The area of space that we had is so huge because we had our own. The tribes filled the whole area. All right. So let me see. I thought I uploaded a map, but I wanted to kind of just show you kind of the area that it's going to be. But it's going to be a huge area. It's not going to be no little small, little rinky-dink area. It's going to be a huge area. But I'll have to show you the map some other time. But you can look on line in Google the original map of the Middle East, and you'll see the areas. Or you could type in the occupation space of ancient Israel, and you'll see that it even occupied little parts of Eastern Africa. All right. So it's going to be huge, but I'm telling you, these people, they don't have to give us reparations. You know what? You keep your reparations. We'll take your sons and daughters as payment and get that 1,000-year work. All right. Let's go to the book of Zephaniah. All right. Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 10. All right. What does that say, y'all? It says, from beyond the rivers of Cush or Ethiopia, my suppliants, his people, even the daughters of my dispersed, shall bring my offering. So he's going to, look, y'all, we're everywhere. Our people are everywhere, scattered to the four corners. All right. Bear with me because we still got more to cover here. So this is the Sefer, the book of, this is going to be 3 Maccabees, chapter 6. All right, 3 Maccabees, chapter 6, and verse 13. All right. It says, let the heathen cower before your invincible might today, O glorious one, who have all power to save the race. You heard it? The race of Jacob or Yaakov, who have all power to save the race. The Negroes scattered to the four corners of the earth. Oh, we coming back, Yasharel. We coming back because look, our seed line will never die. Our seed line will never die. And that is a fact, y'all. All right, let's go to Deuteronomy. Let's go to Deuteronomy 4. And let's look at 27. All right. See, I'm just showing you that it is the Most High who scattered his people. And guess what? We didn't scatter ourselves. Did we scatter ourselves to the four corners? Absolutely not. How did we get to the four corners? Well, you had the sub-Saharan slave trade, which is known as the Arab slave trade, and then on the back of the Arab slave trade, you had the transatlantic slave trade. That's how we got to the four corners of the earth. Did not Deuteronomy said that I would bring you to Egypt on ships again? All right. Back to Egypt again on ships, but this time on ships. All right, Deuteronomy 4:27, it says, and Yahweh shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number amongst the heathen, whether Yahweh shall lead you. See, this is why it feels like we're overwhelmed with our enemies, because you know, we if the Most High took every single Negro and put them in one place, we would be large, all right. But because we're scattered amongst our enemies, it seems like it's few in number. So brothers living in Colorado, you may look around like, dang man, where all the brothers at? Where all the sisters at? But you're gonna feel like you're few in number. They're there, but they're just scattered out, far and in between. In verse 28, and it says, and there ye shall serve Elohim, the works of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. All right. And this is also common because guess what? Everywhere our people are scattered to, they're serving their enemies' religion or their gods. All right. South America is known for Catholicism. So you have a lot of our people who are Catholics in South America. India, you have a lot of our people who are into Hinduism, Buddhism, all right, New Age. America, man, that's America. You got all kinds of religion. You got the Mormons, Seventh-day Adventists, Baptists, Methodists, the Jehovah's Witnesses. All these different religions. That you have that our people are caught up to. All right, so everywhere that our people are scattered to, they are worshiping their gods, these idols in wood and stone. They cannot hear, smell, or drink. So this is what's happening. And this is why the Spirit is working with our people, because now our people are starting to sense something is happening. But the Most High, he is putting these pieces, he's pulling all the strings. And what he's doing, he's causing all these nations to war against one another. We ain't seen nothing yet, Yasharel. This is only the beginning of woes. All right. And he's going to do it in a way where it's going to really start to bring our people together. And even the ones who reject it, some of them may still have a chance to really come back to the Most High. But a lot of our people are not. They're going to continue to be ignorant in their ways, and they're going to continue to stay blinded. All right. But if the Most High comes back during that time, all the Negroes who are alive that have the bloodline of Yasharel, we're going to the wilderness together, y'all. Whether you're wicked or not, we're going into the wilderness. That's what the purging is going to be for. That's why the Most High said he's going to purge the rebellion. All right. So you ain't got to worry about wicked brothers trying to convince other people. You ain't got to worry about false doctrines and all kinds of stuff in the wilderness, because all that going to get purged ASAP. ASAP. All right, let's go to the book of Ezekiel again. Book of Ezekiel, and let's look at chapter 34. Let's look at verse 6. All right. It says, my sheep wandered through all the mountains. We're like sheep. These people are like sheep because sheep has woolly hair. My sheep wandered through all the mountains and upon every high hill. Yea, my flock was scattered upon all the face of the earth, and none did search or seek after them. That's powerful, y'all. Because that tells you that no man, no human flesh and blood man can save our people. No flesh and blood can save our people. This is why Chairman Fred, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, and so many others who tried but failed. Why? Because they are flesh and blood. They had no army. They had no political power. They had no power whatsoever. See, you need power to deliver our people. That's what's going to take that's what it's going to take to deliver our people. It's power, not words, not politics, not marching or protesting, some heathen's business. Pure power. See, here's the thing. If you ask a person, if they would rather have money or power, well, most of our people would say money. Well, money is just a piece of paper with a face on it. But if you had power, you could seize nukes, you could overtake governments, you could do anything that you wanted with power if you had true power. That's what's going to deliver our people. This is why only Yahweh can do this. This is why only the Most High can do this. Right? This is why things are happening the way they are. Who brings destructions on the earth? If you look at the technology of the Most High has always used the natural elements to destroy. All right. And even unto this day, man's technology still overcome cannot overcome the Most High's natural element disasters. A man can build a tower that's so strong that could probably resist certain earthquakes, but the Most High can send he can send a 15.5 on the Richter scale earthquake, and it would literally demolish everything. But we've never seen a 15.5 on the Richter scale. I think the highest was like maybe close to a 9, but it was out in the desert somewhere. But just imagine something that destructive. The Most High can bring fires like you never seen before. And I know that it's the holy angels bringing these fires because y'all, if y'all look at some of these fires that's been happening, and if you look at how the trees were burnt, it looked like something came from the sky. It looked like something came from the sky and just scorched everything. And even Hawaii, it's like, how do those fires happen like that? Because when you look at it, it looked like it came from the sky. I'm telling you, the Most High is fighting for his people. Even in the midst of us being wicked, the Most High is fighting for his people. And this is what we have to get our people to see. I mean, it's brilliant what the Most High is doing. All right, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 3. All right, Jeremiah chapter 3, and let's look at verse 14. All right. It says, "Turn, O backsliding children, says Yahweh, for I am married unto you." Whoa, man, that right there that's insane, y'all. That right there ought to make chills run down your spine. It says, "Turn, O backsliding children, says Yahweh, for I am married unto you, and I will take you, one of a city and two of a family, and will bring you to Zion." So again, because we're scattered, and brothers like myself and other brothers, Brother Aton, we have our little podcast, and the Most High has made it to where now the gospel can be spread through social media. Even though there's a lot of wickedness on social media tied in it, you have to really peruse through it and get the truth out of it. But we, with technology now, we have the ability to spread the gospel to our people. And let's just be real, y'all. Many of our people have woke up through social media as a medium. Not saying that social media itself is a terrible thing, but it's just another medium for communication. It is also a medium for control. All right, if you allow it to. But the Most High took something that was meant to control people, and he took it and used it as a communication tool to reach our hidden people, to reach the scattered Israelites, the Negroes scattered to the four corners of the earth, because now people in other countries, if they have an internet access, they can hear this message. So many of our people are coming to the light. All right. And you got to understand, Yasharel, until we become a nation, we cannot become a united people until the Most High gathers his people, because we're just flapping it in the wind and we're too scattered. And the Most High designed it that way for a reason, so that we could not try to reunite on our own. I mean, the Most High really, really put us in a fix, y'all. He says, okay, y'all think y'all gonna reunite? No, y'all not reuniting on your own. You're gonna reunite when I tell you, when I reunite you. Man, that's it's just it's powerful, y'all. You cannot top the Most High's mathematics. No nation on earth can compete with the mathematics of the Most High. Everything's all about timing, y'all. And the things that we're seeing right now, Yashua, you better buckle up your seatbelts because this is going to be a crazy roller coaster ride. And now, just like the scripture says, nation shall fight against nation. You know, Trump is threatening Canada to become the 51 the 51st state. That's never happened before. To see stuff like that is causing these nations to clash. Because Canada was like, no, we ain't never joining with you as the 51 state. But you know what though? I'm glad that this administration is speaking like a dragon. Continue to speak like a dragon so you can stir up the hornet's nest. I'm loving it. I'm just sitting back watching and laughing. Man, yeah, everything's gonna crumble. Yeah, this stuff is crazy, y'all. To see what's going on. I have to admit, man, these are some crazy, exciting times we're living in right now. I'm telling y'all, boy, just straight up. All right, let's go to the book of James, first chapter. All right, man, look at this, y'all. It's just y'all cannot deny this, man. Look at this right here. To the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greetings. See, even back then they knew, man, a lot of the tribes were scattered still. Now you only had a few that were still in Jerusalem. You had a little bit of Benjamin and Levi, all right, and Judah. But it says to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greetings. So I'm just all these verses that I'm showing you. This shows you that how we as a people are scattered to the four corners of the earth. Man, we serve an awesome we serve an awesome Abba, don't we? All right. All right, let's go to the book of Baruch. All right, one Baruch. And again, I'm reading from the Sefer, but you can find this in your Apocrypha. All right. And something else I wanted to say. So while I'm about to bring this up, you all, man, yeah, have y'all noticed like we're not only waking up, but even our enemies. Have y'all noticed that? And it's like they're starting to come out and be like, "Dang, yo, something's up. Maybe we are. Maybe these folks are the chosen people of the Most High." Have y'all seen that? Because I know when I'm out and about, like I have my fringes on, right? And I'll have people come up to me and say, "I love your fringes." Well, how do you know they fringes? Who told you they were fringes? What do you know about fringes? You know, and they'll say that, and it kind of catches me off guard a little bit because I'm like, these folks are watching us. Do you get the feeling, you all, that these heathens are constantly watching you, especially knowing that you knowing that you're Israelite, right? So let's say at your job, let's say where you work at, whatever, people know what you practice. Do you feel like people are just your enemies? I'm not gonna say your enemies. I'm not gonna say our own people, but do you feel like Your enemies are constantly watching your every move, watching the way you talk, what you eat, all that kind of stuff. They watch me like a hawk. I know they do, but they try to act like they're not. But I know they do, because they'll say certain things, pointing to my heritage. It's like, yep, I know they know. And they good pretenders. They like to pretend like they're not afraid, but they know something's up. They know that they and their forefathers screwed up so bad that there's no turning back from this. All right. So let's go to First Baruch chapter 2. I'm gonna start with verse 29. 29 and 30. All right. It says, if ye will not hear my voice, let me make sure this is up on the screen here, y'all. Y'all can see that. Make sure y'all can see that right quick. All right, good. It's up there. All right. First Baruch chapter 2 and start with verse 29 says, if ye will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations. Y'all hear that? Where I will scatter them. So I'm gonna repeat that again. This is the part right here that is going to be a doozy for many of our people. It says, if ye will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations, where I will scatter them. Why am I bringing this out? Because this is very important. If ye will not hear my voice, what is that voice in your head that you've been hearing, that you are a true Israelite, that you are the bloodline, that this is our birthright? When you first heard that, was it like a fire that was burning in your bosom? Did you feel so excited, and you still do it unto this day? Did you feel like you had to go to the rooftop and shout it out? I mean, that's wild. And even unto this day, it's like that fire is still within me. It says, if ye will not hear my voice, see, I guarantee you let me tell you something, Yasharel. Do not underestimate the power of Yahweh, the Almighty. Every single Negro that is on the face of this earth, wherever they're scattered to, has either heard the voice or rejected it, but everyone hears the voice. All right. The Most High has a connection. The Most High has a genetic connection with his people that is so powerful that it resonates within our DNA. Let me repeat that just in case you didn't get that. The Most High has a connection with his people that is so profound that it resonates within our DNA. The Negroes scattered to the four corners. It's like a telepathic method that he has connected with our people, and only our people can hear it. But here's the dangerous thing. When people refuse to hear that voice, that's where you go bad. That's where all hell breaks loose. That's where you made your decision to choose the pit. But as long as you hear that voice, you got to answer, because some of my people may have more than one chances. You may hear it and ignore it, and then 2-3 years down the road, you may see something. You'd be like, "Oh, dang! That's why my brother was trying to tell me about who I am as a Hebrew Israelite. That's what he was trying to tell me. Oh, now I get it now. Bam! Something might click." But this is probably the most profound scripture right here. If ye will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations, where I will scatter them. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a what? Stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captives, they shall remember themselves. Woo! Oh man. Y'all hear that, y'all? It says, "For I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captives, they shall remember themselves." See, it's not till we're flat on our back until we start to realize, dang, I messed up. Mm. And this is why many of our people are starting to wake up now. This is why people are starting to get it now. All right. And have you noticed that, you know, the beefing between our brothers is starting to decrease a little? It's like we're starting to realize, man, we're brothers. We don't need to be beefing. We don't need to be against our people. There's like a code. When I'm driving and I make eye contact with a brother, we nod. We nod. It's like we acknowledge, I see you, brother, or I see you, sister. We acknowledge that. So you can tell, those who are starting to become conscious of who they are. But this is something that they've hidden from us for so long. I'm telling y'all. All right, let's go to this. This is a powerful verse. I hope y'all writing all these scriptures down too. So let's go to Amos, book of Amos, and let's look at chapter 9, and let's go to verse 9. Give you a few seconds to get there. All right. All right, Amos chapter 9 and verse 9, it says, "For lo, I will command and I will shift the house of Yahshua among all nations. Man, like as grain is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall on the earth." Man, so this is right to the precept of shifting, of separating the wheat from the grains. All right, so it says, "For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Yasharel." When we're talking about Yasharel, it's talking about both. It's talking about the northern and southern tribes, the scattered to the four corners, as we have read in the scriptures, among all nations. Like as grain is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. Mm. So if you hear this voice, and if you're listening to the voice, the Almighty, and you're obeying, and you've turned away from your idols, you're keeping the laws with all your heart, with all your soul, might, and strength, all right, in your heart, then you're one of those who have heard the voice. You just can't depart from it, because once you hear the voice, and to depart from it, it's going to be the latter is going to be way worse than the beginning. The worst thing you can do is hear the voice, and then you get excited about the voice, and then you ignore it. Mm-hmm. So we are definitely living in a time of revelation, I should say, revelation, because now our people are starting to see. So you don't got to worry about. I used to really get upset and see these camps preaching these false doctrines, but you ain't got to worry about that, because the Most High has a way of purging that out as well. But what you all need to do is turn from these idols, encourage our brothers and sisters to do the same, come out of these religions. That's what's killing our people. Christianity, the main biggest one, and they got Pastor Pork Chop working for the enemy, doing the enemy's bidding, causing our people to disrupt and not keep the laws, forsaking the Shabbat, encouraging the celebration of these holidays. And our people are the main ones, boy. They be breaking their necks, be trying to outdo the heathens and keeping these holidays. Ain't that crazy? I never seen anything like it. But we gotta really pray for our people, Yasharel, and we gotta pray for strength for ourselves. And most importantly, we have to work out our salvation with fear and trembling. Because time is speeding up, y'all. And it's happening fast. This administration is moving lightning speed, and they're doing things, but it's all and they're all playing into the hands of the Most High. See, they think they're controlling, but they're not. It is the Almighty that sends His angels. His angels has different um, stations that they operate in. All right, there's certain things that certain angels bring destruction. There's certain angels that bring the tornadoes, the winds, the fires. All right, but know this: the Most High is fighting for His people. Even in the midst of our wickedness, the Most High is fighting for our people because all the prophecies are lining up. We don't know what it's going to be like in the next year, next 2 years. We have no idea. We can't see the future, but we know that according to prophecy and the things that we're seeing, we know that we're in the 10 toes in that region between the 10 toes and the rock being cut out without hands, which represents the Hamashiach and his angels come back. That's a very that's a very short time. According to Most High's time, our time, you know, remember a thousand years to us is like a day to the Most High. So there's nothing that our enemies can do to retrieve themselves or to bring grace upon themselves. It's done deal. It's over. They've already heaped a coal of ashes 1 million miles above their head. They've buried themselves so deep that they cannot get out of it. All right. I'm going to show you one more scripture here. All right. So let's look. So even though we put ourselves in this predicament, but don't get it twisted because the heathens they did forward the affliction. All right. It says, I am. It says this is Zechariah chapter 1 and verse 15 says, I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. What does it mean they're at ease? Oh, yeah, they live in comfortable because they have a good 400, 500 year gap on us as far as wealth. For I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. So the Most High only meant for us to be punished in His light. But, what did the heathens do? They took advantage. This is why when you look at the history of America and you look at why the South was so uh, the South was so strong is because they had free labor. So the North, they didn't like that because the North knew that if they became too powerful, that they would eventually overcome the North. Because contrary to popular belief, the North and the South, they were like two different. It was almost like two countries in one. All right. It wasn't because the North. It wasn't because Abraham wanted to free the slaves. He cared nothing about Negroes. He didn't care nothing about Negroes. He was trying to save his butt because he didn't want the South to overtake the North. They would see the North was so jealous because they had a financial empire of free slave labor in the South. And yeah, they had slavery in the North too. Don't get it twisted. They had slavery in Virginia. They had it in Pennsylvania. They had it all over. So it was the slaves who built the White House. But the point that I'm making is that the South was way more financially advanced than the North. So they come up with a plan to save the Union. This is why they hired abolitionist movements to try to disrupt things. Even though we had people like Nat Turner's rising up, and rising up in different eras of time, it was the Most High who allowed it to happen. But we're still in captivity. The only thing that came off was the chains, was the physical chains. So all these laws that were made were not made to free us. So technically, the 13th Amendment was really to keep us in bondage because all you got to do is create a situation where we go right back into the prison systems. That was the whole plan. So, our people talking about the American dream and this and that, blah blah blah, and all that good stuff. You were the American dream. You were the workhorse for that American dream because this country was built on the backs of our forefathers. But they don't want to admit that. They don't want to put that out. And they'll do everything they can to deny it. So, you know what, Yasharel? Sit back, stay out the Most High's way, and let him do his destruction work. Let him do his destruction work. This thing about to heat up like we've never seen before. And it pays to be faithful unto the Most High, keep his laws, commandments, and statutes. And with that being said, I want to bid you a hearty shalom, Yasharel, and stay strong.